My name's Sierra Silman, and I'm an RN, and I'm a mother of twins.
Is this one of your twins here?
Yeah, this is Holden. He has a twin sister, Fallon. I just brought him today because he's vaccine injured. She's not. So.
And how old is he now?
He's 5. He just turned 5.
All right, so we'll deal with the nurse thing in a minute. For now, let's go back to how your twins were before he was injured.
They were really healthy. I had pretty much the perfect pregnancy with twins. I carried a full term. They were 6 pounds and 6'4" ounces, so they were very healthy. And we didn't have any complication until they received the Hep B, and then they were both jaundice.
Did you Hep B at birth?
Hep B at birth, and they both became jaundice. But that healed, and then we went home. And then after that, they were typical children, developing just like any others that are developing. They crawled and walked within the normal age limits that they should, and spoke. They said a few words. So we had no cause for concern.
And plus you were a nurse, so let's talk about that for just a second. Mm-hmm. What kind of a nurse are you?
I'm a pediatric ICU nurse.
Wow. So, I presume before this happened to you, pro-vaccine?
I was wary. I had heard the stories, but it hadn't happened to me before, and I was more concerned about what would happen if I didn't vaccinate than what would happen if I did.
And is that because of what you were taught when you were trained to be a nurse?
No, I had them before I was actually a nurse, but just because of the stories you hear and
what kind of stories?
You know, the stories you hear, what will happen if you don't vaccinate, the diseases you'll catch, and how unsafe it is for everyone. And that was what I was mostly worried about. I didn't take them out of the house for 6 weeks until they had their first vaccinations. I was that sure that if I didn't vaccinate, that they would catch something out in public, which just seems so silly now.
So as a pediatric nurse, you must have seen babies that were injured by vaccines.
Well, actually, I just started. I just graduated in May, so I haven't been in the field very long, but it's something that I kind of grapple with. It's a tough position to be in, being in the medical industry and also knowing what vaccines can and do every day.
So parents that children end up in pediatric care, that's quite an appropriate noise, what we're talking about right now. They talk about the immense bullying that goes on in places like that from the doctors. What did you experience?
I've only experienced it in my personal life, but they are pressured to get vaccines and on time and not question things. It's happened to me many times. That's really why he ended up injured. When he was 15 months and he should have had his 15-month DTaP and others, he wasn't covered by insurance. Neither of my kids were. So we had to postpone, and I hated that idea because I was worried about what are they going to catch. So as soon as they had insurance, I was a student. Well, as soon as they had insurance, they were 18 months old, and I took them to get their 15-month vaccines when they were 18 months old. And the doctor was Dr. Artigues at the Children's Clinic in Macomb. And I had actually been talking to Brittany Lambert, you may know her. Her son's vaccine injured, and she was telling me to at least split them up or try to delay. So I asked about splitting them up. And he said, no, we can't do that, and they really need them all today. And I asked him, are you sure 100% that nothing can happen to my child if we give these vaccines? And he said, yes, nothing can happen. And
so he actually said that nothing can go wrong with.
Those are my exact words.
What vaccines are you about to have for both of your children?
The DTaP, and there were a couple other ones. I'm not real sure what ones we got on that day, but that was the day that Holden changed, and those were my words.
Did he give you an explanation of why, as you asked if you could delay them, and he said, no, we absolutely can't do that? Did he say why?
He didn't say we couldn't do that. He said we couldn't split them up. And he said that they need to have them now because the diseases that are out there that they could possibly catch if they were unprotected by vaccines.
So what did you do?
I vaccinated them. I was more worried, even though I had heard stories. It's not that I didn't believe them. I guess I thought it was rare, because you hear that a lot. So I went along with it.
And okay, so what happened? So you've got it. So these two are twins, a girl and a boy. So it's quite interesting. Both have the same amount of vaccines. One is okay and one is not. Right. Tell us the story of what happened.
So we went home, and Holden, he was just a very irritable baby from then on. He would cry a lot, and before that, he would speak and say a few words: Mama, Dada, Hi, Bye, Ball, Blanky, Baba. And after that, he didn't speak for months. He regressed into autism. He didn't say a single word for over 4 months. He quit looking me in the eye and playing our daily game of where he is, where is he, where's Holden. I'd throw a blanket over him, and he'd pull it up and say, there he is. And he quit playing that, and that was, when he wouldn't play that with me a couple days later, that's when I knew something was really wrong. And he started banging his head on the floor and on the wall and just self-injurious behaviors. He just became a lot harder to soothe, and then he had the gut issues. He would wake up every single night, a few times a night, just crying out in his sleep, like something was wrong with his stomach. He would touch his stomach, but he never told me anything, and he regressed. He's healed a lot. I've healed him a lot I quit vaccinating immediately after that, and over the years he began speaking more and acting more neurotypical. But he still has gut issues. He still cries sometimes in his sleep at night. And school's hard. He's in kindergarten now. But he's in a mainstream classroom, and we're doing the best we can with it.
After what's happened to your child and all that you've gone through, and as a paediatric nurse, what do you say to a young parent like you were in your situation, like I was as well, where we literally just trusted the paediatricians? What do you say to those parents?
I would say first talk to people of vaccine injured children. Get out there and see that it's not rare. It's not rare at all. I know more vaccine injured children than I know typical children. And then I would say, don't do it unless you're 100% certain that it's what you want to do and you know what you're risking, because you can never go back and undo it once you've done it.
I really admire you, and I'm glad that you are a paediatric nurse, because we need paediatric nurses that actually understand vaccine injuries. So thank you for taking that career. But it must be incredibly hard to be around doctors, paediatricians that bully parents into vaccination.
Well, the reason how I try to justify it in my mind, the profession that I'm in, is there are plenty of nurses and doctors out there that tell you have to get them and you don't need to delay, and there's so much risk if you do delay. And we do need more nurses that will say, if you're not sure, you don't have to today. You have the choice. You don't have to do it today. You can go home and research. And the nurses that know the risk and know what's in the vaccines, because 95% of them probably don't. I didn't before. I know more about vaccines from this group and from the things that I know from vaccine injured moms than I would ever have dreamed of learning in nursing school.
Do you actually vaccinate yourself? Not
no.
yourself. Do you give vaccinations to others?
I haven't yet.
That's a tough one.
I may have to, but that's something else I kind of am in the midst of grappling with. And I say, if I don't do it, another nurse will, happily. But if I do it and a mother is looking at me like so many do, asking, is this safe? Can anything happen? Are you 100% sure? I can say, I'm 100% sure there is a risk. And I'm 100% sure that there is vaccine injury. So you can go home and take your time and think about it.
And so, Merck, the inside of the vial, just inside the packaging of the vaccine you're about to give, you are supposed to, according to the insert, by law, take it out and show it to the patient, and you're supposed to cut out the side bit and give it to them so they fully understand. And I think if people like you and very some people actually do that, then you've given them the opportunity to know exactly what's in. So I don't know, I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but I mean, that's possibly my idea of the worst job in the world, so you know.
It's not easy. If I would have been through this before and known what I know now before I went into nursing school, I probably would not have ever become a nurse because of it. I dealt with a lot of bullying in nursing school for getting the flu shot, and they threatened to not give me my degree if I didn't. There's bullying all over the place with it.
You're qualified now, though.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing I suggest to you. Okay, so do the right thing, and if you ever get fired, come back to us because you'll be employed within the community. Because so many injured children, we need nurses that are right on, qualified nurses.